Hello everyone. In this section, we will study some common Excel functions used for data processing and analysis. End function returns true if all conditions are true, otherwise returns false. Example: A2 equals 8, B2 equals 9, and A2 is greater than or equal to 5. B2 is greater than or equal to 5 returns true because both values are greater than or equal to 5. And A2 is greater than or equal to 9. B2 is greater than or equal to 9 returns false because A2 does not meet the condition. OR function returns true if at least one condition is true, returns false only if all conditions are false. Example: A2 equals 4, B2 equals 9. OR: A2 is greater than or equal to 5. B2 is greater than or equal to 5 returns true because B2 is greater than or equal to 5. OR: A2 is greater than or equal to 5. B2 is greater than or equal to 10 returns false because both conditions are false. NOT function reverses the logical result. If the condition is true, it returns false. If it is false, it returns true. Example: A2 equals 7. NOT: A2 is greater than or equal to 5 returns false because A2 is greater than or equal to 5 is true. So NOT reverses it. NOT: A2 less than 5 returns true because A2 less than 5 is false. So NOT reverses it. If function, meaning checks a condition, logical test. If the condition is true, it returns value if true. If false, it returns value if false. Example: if I7 is greater than or equal to J7. Pass. Fail. This means if the value in cell I7 is greater than or equal to the value in cell J7. It returns pass, otherwise it shows fail. Note: IF functions can be nested to classify multiple levels. Ifs function, meaning used to replace multiple nested if functions, making formulas easier to read and more concise. Example: ifs G3 is greater than or equal to 8.5. A. G3 is greater than or equal to 7. B. G3 is greater than or equal to 5.5. C. G3 is greater than or equal to 4. D. G3 is greater than or equal to 0. F. Thus, the result is the same as nested ifs, but the formula is much easier to understand. If-error function, meaning if the expression executes normally, it returns the result. If an error occurs, it is replaced by the value if error. Example: B1 equals 6, B2 equals 0. IFERROR 18 divided by B1. Cannot divide by 0, right pointing arrow result. 3. IFERROR 18 divided by B2. Cannot divide by 0, right pointing arrow result. Cannot divide by 0. Application: avoid displaying calculation errors, such as lookup or division errors. Text handling functions have the following meanings. Left returns the leftmost num_chars characters from a text string. Example: left Ms 1903. 3. Right pointing arrow returns Ms. Right returns the rightmost num_chars characters from a text string. Example: right Ms 1903. 4. Right pointing arrow returns 1903. Mid returns num_chars characters from a text string, starting at position start num. Example: mid Ms 1903. 4. 3. Right pointing arrow returns 190. Len returns the length of a text string. Example: len Ms 1903. Right pointing arrow returns 7. Value converts text to a number. Example: value 1903 inches. Right pointing arrow returns 1903. Upper converts all letters in a text string to uppercase. Lower converts all letters in a text string to lowercase. Proper capitalizes the first letter of each word in a text string. Trim removes extra spaces from both ends and between words if there are multiple spaces. Find returns the position of find text within text, starting from start num. Example: Find U. DUE. 1. Right pointing arrow returns 2. Replace. Replaces num chars characters in old text with new text. Starting at start num. Example. Replace 2010. 3. 2. 25 inches. Right pointing arrow returns 2025. Time-related functions have the following meanings. Today returns the current date. Now returns the current date and time. Day returns the day value. Example. Day, November 25th. 2025 inches. Right pointing arrow returns 25. Month returns the month value. Example. Month, November 25th. 2025 inches. Right pointing arrow returns 11. Year returns the year value. Example. Year, November 25th. 2025 inches. Right pointing arrow returns 2025. Hour returns the hour value. Example. Hour, 15:30. 10 inches. Right pointing arrow returns 15. Minute returns the minute value. Example. Minute, 15:30. 10 inches. Right pointing arrow returns 30. Second returns the second value. Example. Second, 15:30. 10 inches. Right pointing arrow returns 10. Time returns a time value. Example. Time, 15:30. 0. Right pointing arrow returns 3:30 p.m. Date returns a date value. Example. Date, 2025. 11:15. Right pointing arrow returns November 15th. 2025. Weekday returns the day of the week as a number. If return type equals 1, returns 1 for Sunday through 7 for Saturday. If return type equals 2, returns 1 for Monday through 7 for Sunday. If return type equals 3, returns 0 for Monday through 6 for Sunday. Example. Weekday, November 20th. 2025. 1. Right pointing arrow returns 5. Abs returns the absolute value of a number. Example. Abs, -5. Right pointing arrow returns 5. Int returns the integer part of a number. Example. Int 1.95. Right pointing arrow returns 1. Mod returns the remainder after a number is divided by a divisor. Example. Mod 5. 2. Right pointing arrow returns 1. Round rounds a number to a specified number of decimal places. Example. Round 2.75. 1. Right pointing arrow returns 2.8. SQRT returns the square root of a number. Example. SQRT 9. Right pointing arrow returns 3. Power returns the result of a number raised to a given power. Example. Power 2. 3. Right pointing arrow returns 8. Pi returns the mathematical constant pi, approximately 3.14159. Statistical functions with meanings such as min returns the smallest numeric value, ignoring text and logical values in the referenced range. Example. Min b2 to b4 returns 5. Mina returns the smallest value while evaluating logical and text values as follows. Text counted as 0. True counted as 1. False counted as 0. Examples. Mina b2 to b4 returns 1. Because cell b4 contains true counted as 1. Mina b2 to b5 returns 0. Because cell b5 contains false counted as 0. Mina b6 to b10 returns 0. Because cell b6 contains a text string counted as 0. MINIFS returns the smallest value that meets one or more conditions. Example. MINIFS b7 to b10, a7 to a10. A right pointing arrow returns 7. Because the values of type a in b7 to b10 are 7 and 30. And the smallest is 7. Statistical functions for maximum values are similar to previous ones, such as max returns the largest numeric value. ignoring text and logical values in the referenced range. Example: max b2 to b10 returns 30. Maxa returns the largest value, including logical and text representations if present. Example: maxa b2 to b10 returns 30. Maxifs returns the maximum value that meets one or more given conditions. Example: maxifs b7 to b10, a7 to a10. B returns 25. Because the values for category B in the range b7 to b10 are 3 and 25. And the largest is 25. Statistical functions for average values are similar to the previous ones, such as average calculates the average value. Average calculates the average based on a single condition. Averageifs calculates the average based on multiple conditions. Examples: average b2 to b7 returns 22. Average a2 to a7. A b2 to b7 returns 13. Because in the range a2 to a7, the area A has consumption values 20, 10, and 9, their average is 13. Averageifs b2 to b7, a2 to a7, a b2 to b7 is greater than or equal to 10 inches, returns 15. Because for area A, the values greater than or equal to 10 are 20 and 10. And their average is 15. Statistical functions for total values are similar to the average functions, such as sum calculates the total of numerical values. SumProduct calculates the sum of the products of corresponding arrays. SumIf calculates the total in a given range. SumRange, where another range meets a specified condition, criteria. SumIfs calculates the total based on multiple conditions. Examples: sum b2 to b7 returns 132. SumProduct b2 to b7, c2 to c7 returns 245,400. SumIf a2 to a7, a b2 to b7 returns 39. In the range b2 to b7, the consumption values for area A are 20, 10, and 9, so the total is 39. SumIfs b2 to b7, a2 to a7, a b2 to b7 is greater than or equal to 10 inches, returns 30. The consumption values for area A that are greater than or equal to 10 are 20 and 10. So the total is 30. Statistical functions for total values are similar to those for average values, such as count counts the number of cells containing numeric or date values. Counta counts the number of non-empty cells. CountBlank counts the number of empty cells. Countif counts the number of cells that meet a single condition. Countifs counts the number of cells that meet multiple conditions. Examples: count a2 to a7, right pointing arrow returns 0. Because the range a2 to a7 has no numeric or date values. Count b2 to b7, right pointing arrow returns 6. Because the range b2 to b7 contains 6 numeric values. Counta a2 to b7, right pointing arrow returns 12. Because there are 12 non-empty cells in a2 to b7. CountBlank a2 to b7, right pointing arrow returns 0. Because there are no empty cells in a2 to b7. Countif a2 to a7, a right pointing arrow returns 3. Because there are 3 cells with the value a in a2 to a7. Countifs a2 to a7, a b2 to b7 is greater than or equal to 10 inches, right pointing arrow returns 2. Because there are 2 cells where column A equals a and the corresponding value in column B is greater than or equal to 10. Meaning of statistical functions. Mode returns the mode in statistics, the value that appears most frequently. Median returns the median value. Small returns the kth smallest value in an array. Large returns the kth largest value in an array. Example: mode e2 to e7 returns 9.5. Median e2 to e7 returns 9.05. Small, E2 to E7. 2, returns 7.6. Large, E2 to E7. 2, returns 9.5. Meaning of statistical functions. Rank. Returns the rank of a number within a reference range. In ascending order, order equals 1, or descending order, order equals 0. VAR. Calculates the variance. STDEV. Calculates the standard deviation. Example. Rank, F2. F2 to F7. 1, right pointing arrow returns 1. Because F2 contains the smallest value, rank 1 in ascending order. Rank, F2. F2 to F7. 0, right pointing arrow returns 6. Because F2 contains the smallest value, ranked 6 in descending order. Hello everyone. When working with text data in Excel, sometimes we don't need to retrieve the entire content exactly, but only a part of it. In this case, Excel supports special characters called wildcards to search or match data more efficiently. There are 2 wildcards you need to remember: the asterisk, and the question mark. The first one is the asterisk. The asterisk represents any sequence of characters. It can be long, short, or even empty. For example, in a subscriber list, if we need to identify subscribers of type B, we can use the expression COUNTIF A2 to A10 B asterisk, or to identify subscribers of type B whose subscription codes have 4 characters, we can use the expression COUNTIF A2 to A10 B.